This is TradeFlow News, bringing you relevant news and insights from around the world. TradeFlow News, enabling trade for SMEs and economies worldwide.
TradeFlow Capital Management celebrates 5 years of strong returns and SME success. To find out more, please visit www.tradeflow.capital.
These are some of the key topics that we will be looking into in today's program.
First, let's take a look at the overnight headlines which are impacting the commodity markets. Russia overtook Saudi Arabia to be China's top oil supplier in the first 2 months of 2023, Chinese government data showed on Monday, as buyers snapped up sanctioned Russian oil at steep discounts. Arrivals from Russia totaled 15.68 million tons in January to February, or 1.94 million barrels per day, BPD, up 23.8% from 1.57 million barrels of oil per day in the corresponding 2022 period, according to data from the General Administration of Customs. Russia was China's second largest crude supplier last year, shipping 86.2 million tons.
India plans to extend restrictions on the export of diesel and gasoline after the current fiscal year ends this month to ensure the availability of refined fuels for the domestic market, 2 government sources with direct knowledge of the matter said. The extension of rules may discourage some Indian refiners, mainly private companies, from buying Russian fuels for re-exports to countries including those in Europe that have stopped purchases of refined products from Russia due to its invasion of Ukraine. India, the world's third-largest oil consumer, imposed a windfall tax on refined fuel exports last year and mandated that companies sell the equivalent of 50% of their gasoline exports and 30% of their diesel exports domestically in the current fiscal year to March 31st.
Moving on to the top news in the energy sector.
China's average daily coal imports from Russia rose in the first 2 months of 2023 compared with December, boosted by strong restocking demand as Beijing lifted its zero-COVID regime, but logistics bottlenecks still capped shipments. Arrivals of Russian coal reached 14.8 million tons, or 250,892 tons per day, during January and February, data from the General Administration of Customs showed on Monday, making Russia China's second biggest coal supplier. That compares to 222,346 tons per day in December and 110,470 tons per day over the first 2 months in 2022.
Japanese power utilities want Tokyo at the upcoming G7 climate meeting to promote allowing individual countries to set their own path to energy transition, the head of their industry body said on Friday. As chair of the G7 this year, Japan will host a ministerial meeting on climate, energy and the environment in the northern city of Sapporo on April 15 to 16, ahead of a G7 summit in Hiroshima on May 19 to 21, to promote what Japan calls realistic energy transition. The energy crisis caused by Russia's invasion of Ukraine has taught many countries, including in Europe, that the conditions are different for each country, and that each country must find realistic solutions accordingly, said Kazuhiro Ikebi, chairman of Japan's Federation of Electric Utilities.
Next, we have the top news in metal markets.
Global primary aluminium output rose 2.7% year-on-year in February to 5.273 million tons, data from the International Aluminium Institute, IAI, showed on Monday. Estimated Chinese production was 3.107 million tons in February, the IAI said.
The global zinc market deficit fell to 18,300 tons in January from a revised deficit of 80,300 tons a month earlier. Data from the International Lead-in Zinc Study Group, ILZSG, showed. Previously, the ILZSG had reported a deficit of 100,500 tons in December. The deficit of 18,300 tons in January compares with a surplus of 15,000 tons in the same month last year, ILZSG data showed. We will now look at the top news in the agricultural sector. Ukraine's 2023 combined grain and oilseed harvest is seen falling to a preliminary 63 million tons from 70 million tons harvested in 2022, Ukrainian Agriculture Minister Mykola Solsky told Reuters on Monday. Solsky declined to give an exact forecast for the volume of the grain and oilseed harvest for this year, but said the area under winter grains appeared to be slightly higher than the ministry expected. Preliminary data showed the 2022 grain harvest fell to around 54 million tons from a record 86 million in 2021.
That is all for today's news on commodity markets. Stay tuned to Trade Flow News as we continue to provide you with more updates. We also invite you to follow us on Twitter at Trade Flow News, which allows you to watch our program on your mobile device or desktop to receive information from there.